Hey everybody, it's Shane with Excessive Performance TV, and today we have a Dean Dimebag Stealth. This is going to be one of his variations of the ML. This one's going to be finished in what I believe Dean calls Brazilian burst. We have dime signature pickup, we have dime traction knobs, we have DMT in the neck, we have ebony fretboard with diamond inlays. We've got his signature 12th fret razorblade inlay. And then we have our fingered maple top on the headstock as well. All right, taking a closer look at the case. We basically just have our normal Dean case, except this is going to be larger because this guitar is physically a couple inches bigger. So we'll take a look at that in a second, but this case is just going to be bigger. But the foam insert is going to be shaped for the Stealth guitar. So it is definitely going to be a different case. It will not fit in an ML case for sure. I'm not sure about a Razorback, but we'll check on that. And like I said, you can see this case is literally about 2 inches longer than the typical ML case. And here you can see it just physically is not going to work whatsoever. And just for kicks, you can see it does not fit in a Razorback case, even though it is the same length. The foam insert just completely wrong. All right, so taking just a little look at what the Stealth and the ML, the comparison between the two of those. Basically, I would say the guitar is 85 to 90% the same. The Stealth is just going to be a little bit larger because the points, it just extends out further because of the points, and that's going to be both in the headstock and in the body. Okay, you're going to have an ebony fretboard on the Stealth, which you do not have on the typical ML. Okay, this is the Far Beyond Driven from, I don't know, 2000-ish, 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. But basically they're the same guitar. It has the same bridge, same pickups, basically the same wiring, same everything, as you'll see. There's a couple of different things in the routing, but I think they changed the way they do their routings on some of the newer stuff. And that's what you see in the more modern Chinese guitars. So we'll take a look at that here in a second. But overall, this guitar really cool. When you're playing it, it feels just like an ML, so that's always nice. You do have to get used to the extra length because, again, an ML is already a pretty big guitar, so you're adding to that. And since it's here, we'll go ahead and take a little bit of a look at the Razorback as well. You can see it kind of takes the Stealth and ML and mixes them up and gives them a couple jagged edges everywhere there's a point. But again, these are essentially an ML. They just have some extra points on them, but essentially the same pickups. This is going to be, I believe, a Chinese model. It wasn't sold to me as a Chinese model, so anyway, for future reference, the ML, the Razorback, and the Stealth. Taking a look at the back, we have some interesting things. We have this triangulated hill. Okay. And we have Korean model with our dime logo. All right, so let's take a closer look at this guitar. All right, first up, we'll take a look at the weight. So it comes in at 8 pounds, 11.6 ounces. So creeping up right on 9 pounds. All right, so we have a neck radius of 12 inches. And then we have a nut width of 1.7 inches. And that's going to be 2.14 inches at the 12th fret. And we have a depth measurement at the first fret of 0.8 inches. And at the 12th fret, that's going to be 1.91 inches. Alright, and this guitar seems to have a slight V taper on it, but by the 12th fret, it's completely gone. You can't feel it. Even though it has the V triangle at the heel, like I said, you can only feel it on the neck in the first register. Then we have a body thickness of 1.56 inches. And as always with these things, we have a scale length 24 3/4 inches. Alright, so you can see we have the DMT dime time in the neck with black on black. These guitars have a long neck tenon, it appears. And like most of his guitars, we are going to have noise canceling paste applied to all the electronics cavities. Taking a look at the bridge pickup cavity, nothing special here. Our typical Dimebag signature Duncan bridge pickup. And then the bridge, we're going to have the Floyd Rose 1000. It's going to be the body, not the top mount like the USA dimes. But that's going to be the one that's in all the Koreans. Alright, and back here we just see our normal Korean pots, wiring harnesses, just like we see in most of them. Same with our routing. Although we have an aluminum block in these, which is interesting because all the other Korean dimes have the brass block. And then we just have our typical wiring harness, but that is now being routed like the Chinese models. So somewhere in there they changed the way they were doing these pockets. As far as our covers go, this is going to be the one. I don't know, you could probably get $1 million for these because I've had hundreds of dimes and MLs and Floyd Rose guitars in general. None of them have these, and this one's an oddball shape. But typical of our MLs in the dime series, the rest of the plastics that house electronics are going to have shielding on them. Then we do have Grover tuners. This is a Korean model. And then we have a small volute. So here's the shape of the original Korean control cavity. Here you can see the Chinese models have adapted a 3-screw version of that. While early Koreans kind of had between the two, but we had 2 screws. Alright, it's back together. Let's throw it on the amp and see what it sounds like. All right, so final thought on the Dean Dimebag Stealth. You gotta say this is a pretty incredible guitar. It's got some fantastic specs with the Ebony fretboard and the long neck tenon. My preference is still going to be a typical Korean ML because I like the body thickness as well as the extra weight, and I am not a fan of the extra inch or two on each end of the guitar. Like I said, the ML is already pretty big, but this is a cool guitar, especially if you're doing a collection of dimes, so you can have one of each version of his guitars or whatnot. As far as the pickups, they sound just like all the others. I think you can pretty much put a dimebucker in a 2x4 and you're going to get that same sound out of it. They're pretty amazing pickups. So that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys will continue to follow us and give us a like and a subscribe. That way we can get notified when the new episodes come out. And until then, we'll see you next time. You guys have a great weekend.